If you're like me, you can remember growing up waiting until you were big enough to pick up that first shotgun or the first 22 and tag along on a hunt. And kids today have things probably a lot easier than we did. There's a lot more options out there for used guns. Most of those are kind of in that standard 13-inch length of pull, which is a little big for a really young shooter. So if you've got a 6 or 7-year-old or even younger that's trying to get into the shooting sports, you may have to branch out a little bit. This was my first rig. This was my mother's 1100 Light 20. It's about a 12.5-inch length of pull, so it works pretty well. That's about as short as you can get an 1100. There's some options out there today now that are in the 10.5 to 11-inch range, which are great. You can do that. You can achieve that length of pull with, say, Remington 870, and a good option there too. On an 870, you can find an older model that's, say, a standard 20, which means it's built on a 12-gauge receiver. What we can do is take a standard 20 like that, put a 410 gauge reducer in it, and basically shoot a 410 out of essentially a 12 gauge. Now, a really young shooter is going to need some help supporting that fore end. They're still going to be in control of the rear of the gun. They're going to be aiming. They're going to be doing all those things. You're going to have a little more control over their safety as well. It's going to be really, really reduced recoil. It's going to be comfortable for them. And that's the most important thing. They've got to enjoy it. It's got to be comfortable, and most all of that starts with gun fitment. If the gun's too big, it's going to be tough on them, and they're not going to have a lot of success. So find something that works, find something that fits. Focus really on that, because if they're not enjoying it, if they're not seeing success, they're not going to have a great time. So get them a gun that fits them, get them out there on the range having fun.